Okay.
I'm happy with that.
Beautiful.
We're here with the second episode of talking to Jackson about life, the universe, and everything.
Yeah.
We didn't expect to have an existential crisis last episode, but it was a good time, so we're doing it again.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my favorite kind of crisis.
Yeah. If we don't end every episode in a depression, we're doing something wrong. So I'm gonna start this episode by asking maybe a more practical question, although I think those are more boring, but I think it might be interesting to hear Jackson's actual thoughts on this. So it's worth saying, Jackson, you can't be tooting your own horn on this podcast, so I'm going to do it for you. People have approached you to produce their work. Screenplayers like stuff like this, and you have not always, obviously, time is precious, and you can't just go and produce everybody's work all the time. So it has to be something really significant, special, something that personally connects with you to have it made, right? So, what do you look for in somebody that you want to work with?
I think a good quality to start with would probably being realistic. You can't come to me with a script set in space with a ton of practical effects and expect me to be able to make it with 10 grand.
Why not, Jackson?
Because we live in a capitalist society, and motherfucker, I need to get paid.
Why can't you get? Why can't you get?
Who's paying? Yeah, fair enough.
No. Well, a lot of people write these scripts, and see, you can write whatever story you want, because as long as it's only words on a piece of paper, it can be whatever you want it to be about. But the second you decide that you want to have your story on screen, you need to at least have an understanding of the amount of money it takes to make a particular kind of script, to make a particular kind of film.
Yeah.
Anything with CGI, practical effects, stunts, you're going to need a lot more of a budget to be able to produce that. And people always go to producers with a script that is probably costing at least $1 million and expecting it to be made like dirt cheap. A quality that I look for in somebody who wants me to produce a script for them is being realistic about what I can actually do for them.
Yeah.
Just having a basic understanding of budget definitely helps me.
Sure.
I guess is what it boils down to. Another one is passion. If you're writing something, you want it to be made, but you're not actually passionate about the story that you've produced, then it's just not going to work out in the end, I really respect storytellers that are dead set on the story they've made, but are also flexible enough to allow changes to be made that'll help me do my job to bring it to the screen. As a producer, I need to make a lot of compromises, and I just hope that the person that I work with will also meet me halfway and make some compromises so that both of us can benefit in the film being made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because sometimes there are things in the script that either won't work on screen or are practically impossible to pull off, and I need to be able to tell them that, and sometimes I'll need them to agree with me and make some changes. Now, I understand I don't really like telling people to make changes to their script. Sometimes it has to happen for it to be made. And I completely respect if they don't want to do that, but every now and then it's just not something that would be able to be pulled off. So I respect it if people are flexible but also stern with what they've written.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That's very reasonable. Yeah.
Luckily with you guys, I haven't really had to give you guys many changes to a script. I haven't had to tell you to cut anything, because you guys understand what it actually takes to make a movie. You come to me with scripts of fucking 2 people talking. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
And that's inside. During the day.
And about depression, what's more realistic than that?
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I like working with you guys. You understand everything that we have to do to get a movie made and the budgetary limitations of it. Yeah. So it's a lot easier in that regard. And I'm all for being ambitious. If it's something that we can do practically, creatively. Like, this motherfucker brought me a script and said he wants a room underwater. And I literally said, how? That's impossible. But we managed to do it practically with next to no money.
Yeah.
Things like that is completely fine. I love that stuff.
It's probably worth saying, I might bleep out exactly what it is because I don't want to reveal it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's probably worth saying that when I came to you with... I'll bleep it.
With the underwater scene?
Yeah, with the thing underwater. I said, and this is how it's going to be executed.
Yeah.
Like, there's this thing called this, and this is how this is done. And then you were like, cool. Like,
Yeah.
There are a few moments like that on Co-Stars, Jackson, where I like came back to you 3 or 4 times in a row with like updates with the script.
Yeah.
Do you want to go into that at all?
yes.
Feel free, go ham.
What
Jackson,
were
go
all of
ham.
they? You sent, yeah.
One of them was like the curtain.
Yeah, the original idea for the script was a bit different to what we ended up doing, partially because of like the actual location itself. You rewrote the script to fit the location.
Correct.
Yeah. And so the location was basically like this outside. I don't even know how you
It's like
describe
a
it.
bathhouse, outdoor bathhouse. kind of
Bathhouse,
thing?
yeah, like an outdoor bathhouse in a backyard, and it conveniently looks like a stage, which was perfect for what you were trying to write. And so we get the location, and he comes up to me, and he's just like, "Oh, by the way, I've made some changes to the script." And every time I hear those words, my
Jackson was like,
cholesterol
"Oh, for
levels,
fuck's
they
sake."
just fucking, yeah, I get stressed out to the max. And he's like, I need some curtains. I was like, okay.
Some bright red stage
Some
curtains.
bright red, like, actual stage curtains. I was like, you know how much they cost, right? Like, yeah. We managed to sort it out,
Yeah.
like, fairly cheaply. It was fine.
Yeah.
And it comes to me again. He's like, oh, yeah, I made some changes to the script. I was like, yeah.
This is all after script has been locked.
Yeah. It's like I need some chairs, for, like, cause we're gonna fake an audience, like, you know, cause stages, theater plays have an audience. And I was like, okay.
We need.
How many chairs?
How many was it in the
18.
end? 18. We need 18 chairs,
Yeah, I was like, okay.
and they all have to be identical.
They all have to be exactly the same. I was like, okay, I can get some chairs for you. There was another one that we didn't end up doing
Was this?
inside the bathtub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the little is it plasticine or something like that? I watched that Gondry film, The Science of Sleep.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where there's 2 people in a bathtub, and instead of water, there's all this cellophane. That's it. And it just looked really cool, and it was a cool way to kind of conceal nudity as well, because
Yeah.
the female character in that film, she just stuck some cellophane over each of her boobs, and then she had freedom to move, and I was like, well, that's clever. And then it only took 1 second for you to be like, and what does that sound like while they're talking?
Oh, that was Noah, bro.
Oh yeah, was that you?
Did it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was
probably.
you.
Noah was like, how's that going to work with sound? And I was like, we can move on from that. Yeah. I'll just shoot it low. How about that? I'll just shoot it and crop out anything that doesn't want to be seen.
Yeah. I've made some changes to the script. I think there was one more. I can't remember what it was. Was it like the spotlight or something?
I think it was the spotlight. I said I want a spotlight because it's dramatic and looks cool.
Yeah.
And I want it circular. And I want to put makeup on my actors.
Oh, that's
and
right, yeah.
give them like clown-ish makeup, but more stage makeup.
You see, these
Yeah.
aren't that bad of
They,
requests.
They weren't that bad.
I
but-
knew that all of them were kind of feasible.
Yeah.
But it was just the fact it was really funny. Jackson and I had a laugh at it at the time. I had another big production near Co-Stars when that shot. And so once I got back, it was like, go, go, go.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a couple of ideas come up in that period. And Jackson was like, listen, man, we have like 7 days until shooting, all right? These have got to stop.
Yeah.
at one point, you just have to go with what you have, you know?
No, for sure.
Bro goes away to Mexico for a week, comes back with like 20 different things.
That's the thing. It's because I had a 13-hour flight there, plus other flights, and a 13-hour flight back. Just thinking about Co-Stars.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, shit's gonna come up.
That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair.
I'll defend myself a little bit here. Like, I knew that we could probably get semi-cheap material from Spotlight for the curtains, and like
Which we did. Yeah.
which we did, and makeup doesn't cost that much, and I applied the makeup myself.
It was fair.
Didn't have to hire a makeup artist.
It was more funny that it was just like after script locked one after another after another.
It was like 5 or 6 things in a row
Yeah.
in consecutive days. Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I just
So
kind of accepted it.
don't do that,
Yeah.
because it's fucking annoying.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
good advice
Yeah.
though to people who are thinking about like getting into filmmaking who probably don't maybe have not made a film,
Yeah.
so they don't actually know like the fact that it's like, and I want this, and I want this, and I want this. It's like, okay, you can have 5% of what you
Of all
want.
this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And don't go to Mexico for a week before
The
you
week
shoot.
before production, yeah.
Nah, that was fine. I'm just joking.
No, good.
That was a funny
It
phone
did make the
call.
production timeline pretty freaking
Yeah.
tight, but we pulled it off thanks to you guys. Like
We made it.
I've got a question as well. It's just honestly just a super basic question. I'm sure that you've answered it in different terms, but at work at the moment, one of the people that I work with, her name's Paris. She's a producer in training. She's going to help with producing some of our shoots coming up. And so my boss was like, okay, can you help train Paris in producing? And I had to break it down lesson by lesson, and I've never taught someone in a formal setting like how to do film stuff.
Sure.
And I had to ask myself, like, she asked me, like, what does the producer do? And it took me a while to think of a good answer that wasn't vague, because the real answer is everything.
Yeah.
But I didn't want it to make it sound like a nightmare.
Sure, yeah.
Jackson, in your words, what does a producer do?
Once you get to like a certain budget film, the producer role is split into different kinds of producing.
Yeah.
When you're at a smaller budget filmmaking level, the producer, yeah, like you said, pretty much does everything. So I find a producer as the person who is responsible. I guess this is the most basic way of putting it. The person who is responsible from taking a script and connecting everybody that is needed to the script in order to create a final product. I kind of see myself as a bit of a connector. I get a script, which is like the central thing that everything revolves around, and then I find everybody needed in order to make it the best film that it can be, and I just connect people to this particular project. People, locations, and once everybody's connected to it, make a budget, get all the contracts in order, set deadlines, and then kind of just let everybody do the job that they're paid to do. And then usually it all works out. Yeah. So a lot of it is just connecting the project to different people. Yeah. And then obviously behind the scenes of that, I'm making sure that it's all within budget and on time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if any of that made sense.
It does make sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. What do you think about when you think about assembling a crew? So let's just say you've got the script. More times than not, at the moment, the script writer's the director. So you've got your director usually, if he's written the script. How do you go about assembling crew? What do you take into account when you're looking at filling the other positions?
Well, I focus on the heads of department first, and I usually think about people I previously worked with that I would like to work with again. And luckily, we've been able to do that quite a lot. A lot of the heads of department we use, especially for like co-stars, Bloom, are people that we worked with in the past. So I've been very lucky in that regard. So it's people that I can trust, people that are hardworking, and people that are efficient and reliable. And all of those qualities, you can pretty much find out after working with somebody once. Like, it's pretty easy to see. And from there, the people that work underneath the heads of departments are usually people that have worked with those in heads of departments. They're usually recommended by the people that I'm hiring. So it's a lot easier after that. So once I get the heads of departments already in order, I usually ask them who they would like to work with for these particular roles that support them. And so it kind of just like, it's really strange because sometimes I don't know these people, sometimes I do know these people, but I usually trust the heads of department to help me hire those that work for them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it gets a lot easier after that. But the qualities I look for, reliability, efficiency, work ethic, just generally nice to be around.
Yeah.
You know, you're stuck for 10, 12 hours together, like constantly working on set for like days in a row without a break. You want to work with people that you like, that you know you're not going to hate by the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, the whole thing is just going to end in a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Which has happened before, and it sucks.
Yeah.
It's really frustrating because you put a lot of time, money, and effort into a project, and sometimes you just hire the wrong person, and it just sort of crumbles under its own weight.
Like making a film has this problem where every single element of it has to be executed to a standard that's high enough to the point where it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
And I feel like the way in which you get a film there is you hire someone who is consistently good all the time, constantly, and every single person in their team works coherently as a unit together well, and then that unit works well with every other unit, so every single department connects, and they're all working in sync. And if every job is being done in sync, then the film will be in sync
Exactly.
in terms of its quality. So yeah, it really is one of those cases where you can't even afford to have one head of department do something poorly, because it destroys the entire film.
Yeah.
It's not like a thing where it's like the film's 10% worse because one department didn't do their job. It's like the film is now unwatchable because one department didn't do their job.
Exactly.
Especially if it's like, don't want to pick, but like sound.
Yeah.
If it can be as simple as that. If the sound is consistently bad throughout the film, the visuals can be perfect. It will be borderline unbearable to experience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you do have to be really careful. I'd say communication is also a very key quality to have. If like all of the departments need to be across everything, especially the heads of departments. They all need to be able to know exactly what they're doing on each day and the next day, what they need to do, what they need to get. Like, if I fail to communicate an important piece of information to my heads of departments, then I just have not done my job and have like critically risked the quality of the film as a whole. If the heads of departments fail to communicate anything to those working under them, then they have critically, like, they almost fucked up an entire film if something doesn't get passed to the right person. So communication is really important as well.
So you have to ensure that not only are people doing the things that you've asked them to do, you have to ensure that they are communicating to other people that they do the things that they've asked them to.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's wild.
That's almost like any workplace, though. Information.
That's true.
Information trickles downwards. The CEO will make a plan to the rest of their team, and then everybody in each department, the CFO, the chief marketing officer, will then trickle the information down to those working under them, and then eventually it all gets passed down to the very bottom. Well, I shouldn't say bottom, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Information trickles downwards, so I got to make sure that the heads of departments are communicating the right information to the people working for them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like an ant colony, man. All these ants have their jobs. They do it perfectly well. The colony thrives. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, so we've talked a little bit, obviously, about like the responsibilities of being a producer, and that was one thing with like talking to Paris about producing is I wanted to make it clear to her what the roles of a producer is, which is huge. As you've just said, like it's pretty damn expansive.
Yeah, I don't even know if I scratched the surface, man. Like, there's a lot.
There's also an incredibly rewarding feeling to producing something because you've had such a large stake in it.
Yeah.
Do you feel what do you enjoy? I don't want to put words in your mouth by saying it's rewarding. You can tell me if it's. You can say if it's not rewarding, right? Yeah, fair enough. What do you get out of producing? What keeps you coming back to a role that's so so taxing and so expansive?
Jackson's like, I'm a masochist.
I like pain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You guys just keep giving me scripts and I just
right.
I just keep saying yes.
Yeah.
No.
You really chose to live in the burning house with this one, Jackson.
The end is built into the beginning.
Yeah, right.
No. You're pretty much right. The final product is always very rewarding. I mean, the producers, generally speaking, the first one on the project and the last one off it, it's basically like your fucking child at that point, You've been creating this thing for oftentimes years, and even after it's finished, you're still involved with it for years after that as well. And it's a very rewarding feeling to have made a good film that resonates with you personally as a story, but also that everybody else that loves as much as you do. It's a really fucking great feeling, especially being at the center of everybody working on it. It's just really great that a whole bunch of people from different backgrounds can come together to bring one story to life. Like, there's something really rewarding about that. And to make it really good, it's not much better than that, to be honest with you. Yeah, for me.
On that topic, can I get your thoughts on reception of films? Because, I've given you scripts and so has Isaac, and I think it may be fair to say that, like, at least when you take on my scripts, there's no promise that they're going to go over well with an audience. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, So you love Synecdoche. I'm sure there's a bunch of other movies that you really, really like. Not only that you thought like that was really good, but you watched it and you were like, this is now like a personal part of my life and it's like significantly important and I need this film basically. Have you talked to somebody who's been like, yeah, Synecdoche was trash and here's why? And did it make you feel a certain way?
Not trash, no. I've watched Synecdoche with 2 friends and both of them said it was really weird and they didn't get it.
Okay.
They didn't say it was bad, but I could tell like it didn't have as much of a connection to them. They were very confused by the story, and they probably didn't like it, just felt bad about telling me.
Sure, right.
I didn't like feel offended or anything by it though.
Did it change your opinion of Synecdoche?
No.
Okay,
No,
cool.
it didn't. No, it didn't at all.
Yeah.
No. So, yeah, I guess by that, like, my opinion of a film wouldn't change if it was criticized by a mass audience.
Sure.
Yeah. If I like it, that is, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people as passionate about Marvel movies as we are about Charlie Kaufman films.
Absolutely.
And both are fucking equally as valid, in my opinion. You know,
Absolutely.
people can go call Marvel movies theme park rides as much as they want. They can fucking come here and call Kaufman films pretentious pieces of shit.
Pretentious.
You know,
wish-wash.
like, exactly. And you know, valid criticisms either way. I don't really care. If you got a specific taste for something, just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. You know.
I feel like one of the things, and you can tell me if you agree with this or not, one of the things that makes you a quality critic is being able to justify your taste. So you can't just say, I like that and I don't like that. You have to say, I like it, here's why. I don't like it, here's why.
I mean, yeah, I do understand that. I do also think, like, you can feel a certain way about something and at a subconscious level.
Not understand
like,
why.
not understand why.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a good point.
you know, bringing it back to Synecdoche, it gave me a certain feeling, and I didn't fucking understand the movie at all.
Yeah, sure.
Like, I didn't understand it in a literal sense. Like, I didn't really know what was happening most of the time, but it still gave me a certain feeling that I respected a lot.
Yeah.
So I feel like you can have a criticism of a movie, even though you can't articulate why you feel that way. But then again, like, if you're trying to, like, argue about it, you should probably back yourself up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I definitely seen stuff and been like, oh, I really like that. I don't quite know why. But then I had thought about it for like a month and then been like, oh, I know why.
I mean, I've watched movies before that I thought I would hate, but I enjoyed, and I just don't know why. Like, it's just fucking fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe after going to film school, I have been a bit better at articulating why I like these certain things. But I can understand the perspective of enjoying something, being able to criticize something, but like not really understanding why. But I feel like if you're in an argument, you should fucking be able to articulate why that is. Yeah.
Cool.
If you're actually going out of your way to criticize something, maybe you should know why.
Yeah, I feel like too. But I sort of feel the same way when I like read a positive review about something, and all I see is like a bunch of fluffing about how much somebody loved a thing. So I sort of feel like I take a lot of like about the films that I love, a lot of the positive criticism about them and a lot of the negative criticism about them sort of on the same level.
Right.
Because it's, if the thought's not like articulated well, it's just like a general feeling of I love this or I hate this or whatever. I don't really feel like I value one perspective more than the other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. Some movies can be really bad, but just sort of connect with you one way or another, you know?
Yeah.
Like, imagine going through a breakup, watching a movie, like watching a romance. That's probably a bad movie, but it just really hits you in the right spot.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it happens.
Yeah. You ever watched a movie in like a more vulnerable state and thought it was way better than it is, and then you watch it 6 months later, you're like, that was trash, but I was just fucked up, so I thought it was really good.
No, but I've watched movies not sober and thought they were great.
Right. Similar thing though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a sound state of mind sort of feeling.
Yeah.
I think sometimes if I get caught in that headspace, the quality of the filmmaking falls away, but I still find value in the fact that I've apparently had some sort of shared experience with the filmmaker.
Sure.
Where we related, but that's something different entirely. You know, that means that I've still got to reconsider the filmmaking and
For sure.
how well it's made.
Yeah. And opinions shift a lot too.
Yeah.
So like, you know, have you had that experience where you're like, you watched something and you thought like, this is garbage, and then 5 years later you come back and you're like, wow, that's really a really good movie. I'm not like asking for a specific example.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've had that experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think everybody has one way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of childhood movies lately, And some of them really fucking hold up, and I just fully expected them not to.
So why did the Cat in the Hat hold up so much for you?
Yeah.
So the Cat
Why is
in-
it so good?
Give me one criticism of it that's negative. I fucking dare you.
I can't
like,
do it.
there's- It's a perfect movie.
Yeah, what would
Yeah,
I
I
talk
agree.
about? Cinematography's too good.
Yeah.
Mike
Lebowski,
Myers is too good.
it's a perfect cast.
Yeah. Costume design too good.
Yep, the toilet with the fire in it.
It's fucking
It's
sick.
too good.
The
Literal
practical
fire.
effects.
Yeah. The meta commentary with Universal Studios, cha-ching, too good.
Yeah. It has. It literally has everything you need.
Yeah.
High stakes, emotional scenes, amazing acting. Emmanuel Lubezki's, fucking holding the camera.
Exactly. You have a master at the
Yeah.
at the
And then
reins.
the director literally never directed anything again, so he's got like a fucking. He
Flawless.
ended on a high note
Yeah.
Well, how
too.
can you-
Why would you
Yeah,
follow
exactly.
up perfection? What with? Perfection to
Electric
You
Boogaloo.
know, that,
Yeah, exactly.
you know that Francis Bacon quote where he's like, if you ever made a perfect image, you would stop painting forever or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that? Exactly.
Cat in the Hat is
Yeah.
a perfect image.
Yeah. There you go.
Take that, Bacon.
Yeah. There you go. Someone did it.
Fucking
Francis. The only Bacon I like is Kevin Bacon because he can dance.
idiot. He's got a loose foot, man. I'll tell you what. He's slick with that thing.
So which childhood movies have you watched
Yeah.
that have held up for you?
I watched Prince of Egypt not long ago.
Oh yeah.
Prince of Egypt
Wow.
fucking slaps. The music was great. The visuals were actually really, really good, and I totally did not expect that too. The scene with Moses in the flaming bush is really fucking cool. I didn't realize this, but Moses and God are voiced by the same actor, which is a really cool decision to make. I think it's Val Kilmer.
That's mad.
The scene where God goes through the city and just kills all the firstborn children is like really creepy. Really
I can't believe
creepy.
that. But I was thinking about that. That was a kids' film.
Yeah.
They really brought the parted Red Sea back together and drowned
Yeah.
all of the characters that you've met.
They showed people getting whipped. A dude dies after fucking Moses pushes him off scaffolding. It's fucking hardcore.
Don't heaps of people die from the plague brutally as well?
Yeah, like
After the frogs?
I think it's like frogs. I think locusts come in. I can't fucking remember. Locusts come into it. People die, bro. People just die in this fucking movie.
The whole time.
We got to talk a little bit about how much better films were, like kids' films were in the 2000s, when they just didn't give a shit.
They didn't
put
care,
anything
bro.
on screen, man.
I was shocked.
Hard as fuck.
Yeah.
I watched
Yeah.
I watched a SpongeBob movie not long ago.
Hell yeah.
Even I was surprised, like what they put into that. Like they showed SpongeBob getting drunk, depressed in a bar.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Fuck, all right, that's
That's
pretty
crazy.
hardcore." They like cross into like this city limit into like the bad neighborhood, and they just immediately get mugged.
Yeah.
Patrick and SpongeBob actually die in the movie. I was like, "Fuck,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is
Oh
this is
my
pretty
gosh.
cold."
Yeah.
King Neptune is literally just executing people left, right, and center. It's fucking fun. Childhood movies went hard.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Did you watch The Night Before Christmas as a kid?
not as a kid. No.
Oh, okay.
I only watched it like
just
this
it's
year,
like murder and
last
shit
year.
in that one as well.
Oh yeah.
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 There was
People getting decapitated constantly.
yeah, there's a
Yeah.
whole song about the kids like how should we chop Santa Claus up?
Yeah.
It was great.
Oh man. Did you ever watch movies when you were younger that you weren't supposed to watch?
Oh fuck yeah.
And what were those?
How exciting.
I went through a phase of my life when I was really young. I was just like, I want to watch every fucking bad movie I can.
Oh, yeah.
I googled like, I
That's so
googled I was an edgy little kid, bro. I was fucking
did
edgy.
you like? Because I found like horror movies on YouTube before like the copyright stuff was ridiculous. Like I remember back in like 2010s, maybe a little bit before that,
Yeah.
you could upload full movies to YouTube
Yeah.
and the copyright system wouldn't take them down. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, that's what I did. I think I watched like all 3 Human Centipede movies
Oh, yeah.
in like a couple of days. I was just like, fuck, I'm so hardcore.
Yeah, man.
I watched Marta, like I think it's the
Martyrs,
French
the
one.
French one?
Martyrs,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like, that was fucked.
Yeah,
that
amazing.
really fucked me up.
When did you see that?
I was maybe like 12.
What? No.
12 or 13, something like that.
Man.
Yeah.
That one's really
It
rough.
fucked me up, bro. I'm not
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
lie. Like I was saying, I was edgy. I just wanted to see some
Yeah.
fucked up shit.
Oh,
The Human
God.
Centipede's one thing because like
No,
it's
yeah.
kind of a joke.
Oh yeah, it was funny.
Yeah.
I laughed more than I got
Yeah,
scared.
exactly. The second one does a decent job at being, I think, gross and like effectively. Like if what you're trying to do is gross me out, you're doing a good job. The first one's like,
The third one's just funny.
but Martyrs is serious. First of all, I think that 2007 Martyrs is really good. Like, really good film.
Yeah.
But that one's fucking brutal.
I really struggled to watch. Have you seen it?
No, but I know I've seen clips and I know the reputation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking struggled to watch that as soon as the first scene with the friend and what happens to her.
Yeah.
But then when she finds that girl in the basement,
Oh,
with the
yeah.
headlock, I was
Oh,
like,
man.
that was almost too much for me, man.
Far out.
Watch that. There was a couple others that I'm struggling to remember right now, but yeah, I don't know why I did that to myself. I think it kind of fucked me up a little bit. But I'm fine.
A little bit of early PTSD builds character.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing can scare me now. I'm invincible.
That's right.
No, but nowadays, like, I'm so desensitized to horror. Like, I can't remember the last time I got scared in a horror
let's
movie.
do that a little bit. I don't know how much more time we have on this podcast, but let's do a little bit about horror movies.
Yeah.
Because I've definitely recommended Jackson horror movies, and I don't really have other people I can recommend horror movies. I know you're not super keen, and I've talked to Taylor about it, and he's like, I cannot do the gore.
I've
stuff.
watched some bad. Like, I got through Antichrist.
Right. That was
and the
pretty
house that Jack built.
Yeah.
I survived.
Yeah. I didn't get Antichrist, bro. I didn't get it. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and the practical effects.
Yeah, they were good.
They're
They were
fucking
really
good practical effects.
It's the best fake penis I've done ever seen.
So,
It ain't no Mark Dick, though.
No.
so here's a good question, and I'd like to talk about this sometime, like at length on the podcast, because I got into movie making that way. Maybe I'll tell this story later, but I got into like movies through watching horror movies on YouTube when I was like 10. Same sort of thing. That's cool. We have that in common now.
Great,
Now I know we have
yeah.
shared PTSD from early days of YouTube. Fuck yeah. But
Oh, bro.
do you? Because like I kind of feel like with horror movies, you get like a good one every 2 years. Like I feel like there's so much shit. It's like one of those genres where it's really, really easy to shit something out and make a bunch of money. Like,
Oh, yeah.
So quick because a bunch of just like I did. A bunch of, except I didn't go to a theatre, but a bunch of 14-year-olds will go into the theatre and with their girlfriends will be like, I'll impress you, I'm not going to be scared, and they shit themselves, but like...
I was on a date once, I saw Insidious 2, and I went in with exactly that mentality. She was like, I'm scared of these. I was like, I'll be fine. You're good. And this thing happened. And I literally went, fuck! in the cinema.
Nice.
And the dude behind me, this dude was like in his 30s. I think I was like 18 at the time. And the dude very loudly turns to his girlfriend and he's like, what a pussy.
Wow.
And I think the girl I was on the date with was like, yeah, he is a pussy.
That is so demasculating. Holy shit.
I couldn't believe it. And he was like 30 and huge, and I was 18 and tiny.
Not gonna
So
pick a
I was
fight.
not picking a fight with him.
That's fucking funny.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, sorry.
That's
Know
all
what
right.
you were saying.
I'm going to take this whole thing full circle. So, that's my opinion on horror.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that way?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, mate.
Okay.
You said 2 years. I'm going to say longer.
Oh, really?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Like, horror movies, like, have this method and system to it, and it's just so easy to pick where the jump scares are going to be nowadays,
Yes.
man. Like, every horror movie, I'm just like, now, and then something will happen. It's like, I fucking knew it.
Yeah.
The jump scare happens. And,
Do you jump anymore?
very rarely.
Yeah.
I think when was the last time I jumped on a horror
do.
movie?
Every time, yeah. I jump every time.
I think the last horror movie that gave me like a creeped out vibe was probably Hereditary.
Yeah, that was a good one.
It was a good one. I liked Hereditary a lot. I think it was the scene where the mother, I'm gonna spoil this by the way, where the mother, like, when the son wakes up and the mother's just in the ceiling in the corner in the background. I didn't even notice for like 5 seconds.
Really cool
And
shot.
I was like, oh fucking it. It was midnight with my dad.
Oh,
My dad was fucking scared, dude. It was so funny. When the scene where the girl got her fucking head chopped off, he was actually like this cowering. It
I
was
gotta watch
wild.
Hereditary again, man. I gotta see it again.
It's
I think
great.
I went and saw it with a bunch of my high school friends. It was like the late session. And exactly that scene in particular, when the son is sleeping and Toni Collette's in the corner of the ceiling when she's there, and then she like swims across the roof.
Yeah.
All of us just went, ooh, because it's not like a surprise scream.
Yeah.
Because you can see it clear as day, but it's like, oh, this is so unsettling deeply.
It is, yeah, you're right. It is so unsettling, bro. When he goes into the living room, sees the fucking naked dude staring at him. She's in the corner in the darkness and just starts fucking like running after him.
Yeah.
Goes into the attic and she's just knocking her head on it. Oh, it gave me fucking chills. It actually did. Didn't really make me jump, but yeah, it creeped me out a bit.
Yeah.
It was good.
I feel like horror movies are a really confined genre in that there's not much room to go anywhere, because it's like, in order for a film to be a horror movie, there's like specific hallmarks, which are like, there better be some blood and some gore at some point.
Yeah.
It's like, if you really think about like what defines it as a genre, it's like, I feel like the elements of the film are pretty specific. It's like, there's probably somebody's getting killed at some point. There's some murders going on. There's some chase scenes. There's some this and that. So like your script in some part is already written. Whereas if you do like a genre like a drama, you can kind of go in a lot of places. Or even a sci-fi film, you don't have to do a horror sci-fi. You can do a existential Blade Runner type sci-fi. You can do something like Primer, which is about time. You can do something like 12 Monkeys. There's lots of places you can go, but I feel like horror as a genre has like this much room to move in it.
Yeah.
So getting a good one, making a good one is significantly harder than a lot of other genres.
Definitely. No, I completely agree with that. Which is why horror is so spoofed nowadays. There's so many fucking spoof movies for horrors, because the recipe is exactly the same for so many of the movies that it's just so easy to take advantage of.
Yeah. It's incredible, like, and how they like show that is like in a scary movie, because scary movies obviously like there's a series, but in each film they'll have one storyline, but they can weave in however many scary films, because a lot of them do follow the same tropes.
Yeah.
It's that easy to just slot one in.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it's like finding two songs with the same BPMs.
Yeah.
And like slapping them over the top of each other.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Would you guys ever write a horror?
Yeah, I would like to. I think that
If I can find a reason why.
I think that it
Okay,
comes down
cool.
more to, once again, like execution of an idea that has some sort of uniqueness to it, but it's ultimately going to be a similar thing.
Yeah.
I still think that Audition is my favorite horror film.
I still need to watch that.
It's extraordinary filmmaking, but I also feel like it's like a thriller for like the first 2/3 of it, anyhow. But just brilliant script. Like that's the main thing that makes it so great. It's like the script's fantastic.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Made me feel ill, that one.
Yeah. Jackson, what are your favorite horror movies?
My favorite horror movies. Oh my god. I mean, Hereditary is up there now, I think. I really enjoyed that for reasons I spoke about before. Martyr's definitely like one of my favorite horrors. It's just so fucked up. I do still have a soft spot for the original Saw, even though now when I watch it, it's pretty shit.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad,
Yeah.
but I have a soft spot for it. It's an honorable mention, let's say
Sure.
that. An honorable mention. I don't know if it counts, but can I say The Cabin in the Woods?
Yeah.
Fuck, I love The Cabin in the Woods.
Really cool movie.
It's so funny and just handles the sort of horror and spoof parody genre really well.
Yeah, it's one of the only, like, I feel like the only thing worse than a lot of shitty horror movies is a lot of, like, shitty horror parody movies.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you're not funny. There's less filmmaking skill in what you're doing than what these people did.
Dude,
just because
literally.
you know that it's bad. Congratulations. You know someone made a bad film. Like, fucking A. You know? Congrats. But, like, but The Cabin in the Woods is, like, one of those that you can really cite as being, like,
Yeah.
fuck, that's clever.
It's fucking fun,
really
man.
good stuff in that, and the execution of a lot of that stuff. I don't want to like spoil stuff, so I won't. But like the mermaid, the shot where all the things open and the monsters, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. It is so fun. I didn't actually expect them to kind of do the ending where the fucking gods that they worship to actually come and destroy the world.
Yeah.
I was like, they did it.
Yeah.
Cool. That's sweet. But yeah, all of the monsters are really fun. The two guys that work down in the fucking building,
Yeah.
they're really funny.
Yeah, they're
like
funny,
they're
yeah.
fun. They're fun to work
Yeah.
with. Yeah, that was good. You've seen it?
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. It's
Yeah,
really
it's
funny. So probably the first time I saw Chris Hemsworth, I think.
True.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember him taking that motorbike and thinking he's hot shit,
Yeah.
and then exploding on the force field.
Yeah.
Cracked me up.
Yeah, it's really funny.
yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. Fuck.
Yeah.
The original Evil Dead is good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Undervalued in
Yeah.
terms of actual quality filmmaking. I'll say it till I fucking die.
Yeah.
That film's so originally done and like so like you know because but like the shot selection in that, how everything cuts together, like it's really good filmmaking.
Yeah.
It's so self-aware too, and like part of the charm is like you know how it was made. I think it does. It's one of those films that benefits like once you know how it was made, the film kind of becomes like a meta experience of watching people make a movie, and then it becomes even greater than I feel that it already is. But yeah,
That's true. I need to rewatch it with that context. Actually, That's a good idea.
It's so fun. Yeah, I love all those three. That trilogy is fucking amazing. Yeah.
I could never really get into like the classics like Halloween, Friday the 13th, Scream.
This is such a based opinion. Here we go.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Mid. Here we go.
Halloween's mid?
I was like, well, I've seen Halloween, and I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
yeah, and I felt the
100%.
same way, especially about the first Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
I was like,
The-
like seriously, whatever.
It's really unfortunate when I'm watching like this thing that's supposed to be Halloween, the greatest fucking horror, one of the best things, and the best bloody thing is the opening shot. It doesn't get any better.
Yeah.
It's the POV through the mask.
Yeah, really original, cool shot. Even how it comes out of it when the cop, I think the policeman takes it off and they pull out from him on the street and stuff. It's like, wow, I'm in for a really good ride.
Yeah.
And then it's just disappointment.
Yeah, it's not like Texas Chainsaw where it's like, I mean, Texas Chainsaw's far from perfect, but there's some real grit in it, and it really moves with like some momentum. Yeah, I feel like that's one of the ones that kind of holds up for me, being like, oh, this is a horror movie where I feel like that people are scared and like we're moving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some urgency here.
I like Jaws.
Yeah, Jaws.
Yeah,
is
Jaws,
awesome
yeah.
for me.
Jaws
I
is
love
good.
Jaws.
I think Jaws is really effective.
100%. They actually do a really good job building suspense in that movie. I know it's like the most obvious thing to say, but it's fucking true.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah,
good.
it is. It's scared the living daylights out of me first time I saw it. That was it's funny, I don't hear my dad say this often, but because I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of horror films when I was a kid, of course, parents don't want you to.
Yeah.
But my dad's justification for that one was he said to my mum, I will never forget this, he said, it is scary, but it's a classic. He has to watch it.
Right.
And so he let me watch it because
Yeah.
it was on like Channel 7 or something.
It's also got some sort of element to it where it's much more accessible. Because if there's giant sharks chewing somebody open and all their organs are coming out, it's much more like socially acceptable to watch that than like somebody stabbing somebody to death.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
because it's like we're all on the team against the shark.
Right. Dad, can we watch this movie about the shark eating the person? Sure. Dad, can we watch this movie where this person's head gets put in a reverse Venus flytrap thing? You're talking about Saw, but like, it's like, no,
Oh, yeah,
what are you
Jesus.
talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's that problem.
Building on that, I remember when I was like going through my fucking phase of watching this shit, I really wanted to watch Saw. I never watched Saw before, and back then everyone was like, "Oh, Saw's the fucking scariest film ever made." You know, it's so gory. It was like the whole thing. And I called my dad, and I was like, "Hey, Dad, can I rent a movie on the Apple TV?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, buddy. What movie?" I was like, "Oh, I want to watch Saw." He was like, "Oh yeah, go for it. All good." I'm like, "All right, bet." So I watch it. You know, have fun, get scared, fucking whatever. He comes home. He's like, "Oh, how was the movie?" I was like, "Oh yeah, man, it was so good. Really scary. So much blood." He's like, "What, for a Thor movie?"
Oh.
Oh, good story.
And I was like,
Oh,
no, Saw. He's like, "Oh, I thought you said Thor." And then he grounded me. I was like, "Motherfucker, I said Saw. It was
Your ears,
fault."
dude.
Yeah, it's your problem.
That was funny. Yeah.
And next time you were like, "Can I watch Thor 2?
Can I watch?
Thor 7 or whatever the fuck we're
Yeah,
up to now?"
Jesus.
Oh, that
Can I
last
watch
one, bro.
Thor with Chris Rock?
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
So, to attempt to bring this full circle to a series that will not end here,
Wait, what?
to attempt to link this, to attempt to close this conversation off full circle, knowing that there'll be another episode of this.
Okay, yeah.
If you don't know, you probably know this, but the jumping off point for Charlie Kaufman writing Synecdoche, New York, was that he was approached to write a horror movie
Yeah, I did hear
and
about
to
that.
make that with Spike Jonze. And he said that he wanted to do something that was real scary and not fake scary, which is a pretty good description.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
good
like-
description for
Pretty
Synecdoche.
fucking
Yeah.
accurate.
Yeah, I don't feel like horror movies are the scariest genre of movies. I don't think that's true. They're not really scary. It's like people want a roller coaster ride. that's fun, but they know that they're not really in any real danger. But if you watch something like Synecdoche, you know that you're in real danger after you finish watching.
You might really think about your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's actually a really good way of putting it. You're aware of your mortality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Really
Spike
fucking-
Jonze couldn't direct it because he had a schedule conflict and had to direct Where the Wild Things Are.
Yeah. So
Which also bombed.
which also bombed.
So he was doomed either way,
That's it,
basically.
yeah. Oh my god. Didn't he lost a lot of his funding because they found out that Spike wasn't directing and Charlie was going to direct, didn't they?
I don't know if that's true.
I
would think.
I
it
think
probably
they
would be
had
true.
there was some I think someone was signed on to fund the film and then
and pulled-
Spike pulled out and then they pulled out
Yikes.
because they didn't want first time director Charlie Kaufman doing it.
Well, they made a good decision.
Yep.
'Cause
Well,
made
they
a
did
good
financially,
financially.
they did, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
It gives me hope. We're never going to make money.
No, we're never going to make money, but we're going to be happy. Are we? Tell me we're going to be
We're
happy.
going to be happy. We're going to be happy.
It's gonna
all
be
good.
okay?
It's fine, bro. It's all
Okay.
good.
Hold on. Recreate the last scene of Synecdoche. You're gonna be fine. It's 7:43. It's 7:44.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fuck. I'm going to cry, bro.
It's like, and die. I think I know what I'm going to call this episode.
It's fucking dead.
Cut the episode there if you want.
Oh yeah, that's the
Yeah.
end of it. Thanks everybody for listening to the second episode of interviewing Jackson about God knows what and everything else. We will do another episode of this, whether you like it or not.
Is that directed
Damn,
to me
Noah.
or the audience?
I'm threatening our viewers at gunpoint here. Thank you, Jackson, for letting us interrogate you once again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for not pleading the fifth once.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate
Appreciate
that.
For the next episode, we'll make sure we prep some questions that will make you plead the fifth.
Yeah. So we're done. Can you release my family now?
We'll
Are
talk
we
about
set?
that after part 5.
Okay. Cool.
Wasn't it? It was the actress who plays Ellen's mum,
Yes.
right? Yeah. Fuck.
That's so fucking wild.
It is crazy. Played Ellen's mum in The Memory.
Yeah, in the memory.
Yeah.
Fuck. That is a trip. That's a fucking trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. We done?
I think we're done.
Yeah.
Cool.